Wait, hold on. Let me fix my beard. Yeah, that's as close as y'all gonna see me with a beard. Because, you know, I don't pretend I'm into cootie cat. But anyway, hey, y'all. Welcome to a brand new episode of On the Line. I'm your host, Kris Avalon. And in the background laughing. Okay, so I had a little too much to drink. But yes, we wanted to come on the line and talk about all things entertainment, news, and pop culture. There's a lot of things we want to get into, including I wanted to get on the line and talk about Wonder Woman. I want to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. I know it's Potomac, but I just like calling it Potomac because it sounds funnier. I got the latest on Wendy Williams, and I want to talk a little about Club Kid, Michael Alig, who passed away from a heroin overdose. So, yeah. So without further ado, I want to bring in my co-host. The music is a little loud, by the way. Host of and Host Chat Live. Oh my gosh, I gotta move this microphone because I'm like leaning on it. Okay, so yes, co-host of Host Chat Live every Saturday from 12 to 2 on alderdoradio.com, and host of DTA podcast, where, you know, he talks about gay wrestling and all that good stuff. Let's bring into the building the one and only Mr. EJ Ponka. Ponka. That's my New York accent. Ponka. Where you at, yo? Where you at? I'm in the house.
Hi.
I don't see her, Helen Keller. I don't see you. No. Oh, I'm liking this little background and stuff. I feel like I'm in the Janet Jackson feedback video. But anyway, I hear you though. So yeah, I was liking all the countdown, everything was working smoothly in the beginning and stuff of the show.
Yeah.
So we basically want to talk about a couple of things. Before this show, I can tell you why I've been, you know, drinking a little of the coquito is because earlier I was doing this content year in review. Oh yes, there you is, baby. I was doing the content year in review. Where basically we were just celebrating all things LGBT. So a lot of musicians, sports figures, podcasters such as myself and you as well with Host Chat Live. I did not win for best podcast, but I did come in second. Well, shout out to the winner and all the nominees and all that good stuff. So yeah, I came close, but I didn't get it. But you know what? Better luck next time. And it's not always about winning and all the good stuff. I mean, it's, you know, as they say, it's great to be nominated. But yeah, it's just the great thing I saw about it was like the exposure and I'm putting myself out there and networking and all the good stuff, which we got to do after after the whole broadcast. It went on for about a good 2.5 hours, I think we did the event. It was fun, loose and fancy free, a lot of great people. Yeah, so I'll post that link in later on in the show in the description. I'll put the link to that episode so you guys can actually watch it because it's live on their YouTube. So I'll grab it and then I'll put it in when this episode actually uploads after the live stream. Because you know, when you do live stream, it just disappears. For a couple of hours, it has to kind of render and all that stuff. So I'll go and I'll fix it and I'll add the links and all that good stuff and take it from there. So yeah, shout out to Yo LGBT Raps, the weekly top 40. Content Network and LGBT Underground for putting together such an amazing event that I got to host. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 2021, all the great things that's coming out of that. So yeah, you know, Christmas came and went. Enough shameless self-promotion. Christmas came and went, and I don't know, how was your holiday?
Christmas for me was cute. It was quiet. It was quaint. You know, me and my partner, but I got to share it with my family. You know, we all did a Zoom and Google Duo actually. You know, they do the group chat on there, and it was fun. It was, you know, we all had our moments, and you know, good to see everyone, and we all talked about current events and just try to be more connected as a family, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I kind of was in my own space, so I didn't really feel like, you know, I had to curse anyone out for not social distancing or wearing a mask. So it was different but comfortable.
Yeah, for me, for on the 25th, I was supposed to go film a podcast with Rick Easley, who runs the Tribe website. Another, for those of you who are tuning in, it's another website that I write for. We'll put it in the little thing over on the side so that way you can head over there, tribe.com. I'm going to upload finally the best albums of 2020 list. I have it in the draft. I'm just waiting to get a couple of things put together before I finally release it. And then you all can check it out and download the music and go check those artists out, because it's not all the same mainstream whatever that you guys are accustomed to seeing from a lot of the mainstream blogs. It's some artists some artists you may not know, and some artists you'd like to get to know. So I did post their music videos and other stuff in there. So you guys can check all that out once I upload it, and I'll promote it heavily on my Twitter, my YouTube, and all that. Not YouTube, my Twitter and my Facebook and all that stuff. So yeah, I was supposed to go meet up with and do that, but that didn't work out. So I basically stayed home. My roommate basically had a couple of friends over. We ate, we drank, we watched Wonder Woman 1984, which we are going to get into that conversation in a couple of minutes. But I got to visit my parents yesterday. Took the trip to Queens because they went over to my cousin's house in Harlem, and they all kind of gathered and got together and all that good stuff. And that's basically what I do. Is I just stayed home. I ate, drank lots of wine, and hung out, played games, watched movies, played a little Uno. I love Uno. Uno is such a universal game. Like, anybody can just have fun and get into that. So yeah, we just played some games. We drank, we ate, watched movies. And yeah, that was basically it. And then yesterday, like I said, I went out and visited my parents, and now we're doing this. So it's like, yeah, I had the weekend off, but mother's been busy. So without further ado, speaking of which, since we were just talking about it, let's get into Miss Wonder Woman 1984. So yeah, HBO Max hyped the hell out of this. Movie came, was kind of excited, but not really to see it. So when I finally got around to watching Wonder Woman, I have to say I was hugely disappointed in the movie. I expected a whole lot more, especially after seeing the first film. Now, don't get me wrong, the first one had its flaws. Completely hated the third act of the original Wonder Woman movie. But one of the things I did love is there were so many great moments in the first one. Like, the Themyscira scenes, and then also, the scene in No Man's Land. I just love that scene where she finally just finds her inner strength, and she goes and helps the army go in and save the people. And there's just that big fight sequence. And I just wanted more of that in this one. I don't know what the fuck happened between the first one and the second one, but it was just plot-wise, it didn't make no sense. The whole, artifact with the making the wish, then he becomes the artifact in human form, and then how Steve Trevor came about. It's sort of like everything was coming when you wished it, but overall we didn't get to me it just seemed like the plot was convoluted. The movie was clunky. One of them was barely in the freaking film. I didn't want Diana Prince. That's like me watching the Dark Knight trilogy and I'm getting more of Bruce Wayne instead of Batman. No, I want to see fucking Batman. I want to see Batman as a superhero kicking ass and that sort of thing. I don't want to watch the normal person and all the romantic shit. If I want to watch romance and a superhero movie, I'd watch them Greg Berlanti horrible ass CW fucking TV shows. That's what I felt like I got with this movie. I don't know what happened in between. Diana all of a sudden became this weak, vulnerable girly girl, and in 40 years she had moved on from Steve Trevor. And then how all of a sudden they tried to do this whole quantum leap thing where she wanted Steve to come back, and then they took his spirit and put it in another human's body. But people were wishing for things and they magically appeared. So why couldn't Steve Trevor appear? So I don't get why, just certain things didn't make no sense. And what I also wanted more of was in the beginning, when they had the big game, the physical game thing where we see a young Diana, kind of it was their version of a Harry Potter Quidditch match. I wanted to see more of that. Like I love that scene and the whole thing that entails. So it was like she thought she was going to win this game, but she got pulled by her aunt because what was it, Antiope, I think was her name, because she pretty much cheated. They know she cheated, and it was like, this is not how you win. So I wanted to see kind of more of that play out. I just felt like a lot of things that was going on in the film, you know, like when you set certain things up, you expect the payoff to kind of come towards the end. So it's like when you set little things up, you expect more of that. When it gets to the end of the movie, was like, okay, so these moments that you're seeing these characters in were earned. I don't feel like anybody earned a lot of their character, like a lot of those moments. Kristen Wiig looked terrible as Cheetah. I don't know what the hell was going on with the CGI. It's sort of like, was WB, like, did y'all run out of money or something? So it was just a lot. I had issues with this movie. I'm going to ask your opinion on what you thought, but there was another movie I saw this weekend. It was called Soul. That's over on DisneyPlus. If I had to choose between both movies, I'd go with Soul. Soul was a much better movie. It had like this moral thing about, you know, what's more important and going after your dreams and what's your purpose in life. And these are things that we all think about. It had more of like a spiritual undertone to it. Well, it wasn't really an undertone, but there was a sense of spirituality that was brought to Soul. And I love the movie. I thought Jamie Foxx was, you know, I heard his voice was in there, you know, Felissa Rashad. There was a lot of people. What was it? Alicia Braga. I remember I heard her voice and I was like, oh, I know who that is. She's from my show that I watch on, oh my God, what's that show? Queen of the South. I love that show, by the way. I don't know if y'all seen it, but you know, it's based on a Spanish TV show. But so yeah, that's what it is. And what surprised me also about the movie, I had no idea that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did a lot of the music, like the score. So that surprised the heck out of me when I was reading the credits. So yeah, that was great. Oh yeah, and then the big the surprise scene at the end of Wonder Woman, that was cute. But like I said, I wanted more. And look, I guess my opinion don't mean shit because we're about to get a Wonder Woman 3, which I pretty much knew and was coming. And yeah, so Warner Brothers has announced that director Patty Jenkins is working on a third Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot set to return as Diana Prince. And so, according to Variety, it says, as fans around the world continue to embrace Diana Prince, driving the strong opening weekend performance of Wonder Woman 1984. I need to know what those numbers are, by the way, because y'all talking about strong opening performance. When there's a lot of movie theaters not open, and I need HBO Max to release those numbers. So, going on with what they said, we are excited to be able to continue our story with our real-life Wonder Woman, Gal and Patty, who will return... Gal and Patty, sorry, will return to conclude the long theatrical trilogy. I said Patty. And I said, oh, look, I just hope this third one is more like the first and less like the second. I need y'all to kind of bring it on back. Like, where do we go from here? Oh, another thing I totally forgot to mention. Where was the fucking music from 1984? Like, y'all got some of the fashions up in there. Some of that fashion made no damn sense because I was looking at certain shoes, like them leopard print pumps. Them shits was down from the 80s. So I don't know how you bring us something in there and thinking like we wouldn't know what the fashions was of the 80s. I just thought it was just a lot of laziness that was going on from the script to specifics on the looks and the fashions and things. And the good thing is, fanny packs is making a comeback. I have one, but I don't wear it around my waist. I wear it around, you know, over my shoulder. But anyway, there's different ways you can wear it. But yeah, where was the music from 1984? That was another thing that irked my spirit. But yeah, let me shut up and get your opinion. What did you think?
Well, I mean, real quick, I agree what you're saying. Some things were very much off and some were a lot of off. I love Kristen Wiig, her just her acting over it. I do think that this role may have been, I mean, it was her first action role, so maybe that's why she came off a little odd, if you but I do agree. I think this one was kind of, you know, I mean, they didn't think about everything. They had enough time to really think about a really good soundtrack and all the things, all the elements that make it a true essence of the 80s. Like, so I do agree to that because movies are supposed to take you to a time and depict a certain setting and place and all that stuff. So I'm saying something is off, it all falls apart. So I definitely get that. The consistency, continuity, that's something that they need to work on. It has been renewed for another a third one, as you said. Hopefully they do put more energy into it, more creative creative effort into it. As far as which one I like better, I think Soul is better. I actually got really into it watching it with DJ the other morning, and I kind of just was hearing it from the room, and then I'm actually made me want to come out actually watch it with him, and it was really good. It definitely has a story, like you said, of something more of a like philosophical type thing, make you think, and something that didn't really piss you off like Wonder Woman. And if you're looking for what you got in the first one, this one is a big letdown. I try not to be too critical on action films because I don't think after the first success, it never really gets like better to me. It just gets more complex. Because right now, Fast and Furious, they're doing, what is it, 9, 10? Like, okay, we're over it. How much more? How many cars? How many? You say it a lot. Like, your back flies into a truck and all of a sudden you get up. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the believability is gone. So this is going to be their problem of continuing to keep people, real movie fans who want authenticity and not just some slopped up mess put together, throw it out there because people are going to watch because of coronavirus. So, but I like Soul. I think Disney, Pixar, Disney, whatever the fuck, they own everything. I think they did a fantastic job. Yeah.
Yeah, they pretty much own it. You earn everything.
Okay.
Yeah. For the most part, I 100% agree. But I just didn't like a lot of times when I was reading comments and stuff, and there were people that were like, well, I'm tired of hearing people say they don't like it. Look, motherfuckers, if you like the goddamn movie, by all means, congratulations, you liked it. That's you. If you didn't like it, great. People are allowed to like things and not like things, but you shouldn't be pissed off at people because they didn't like something you like. Me personally, I like things because me going to film school, I've learned the art of character development, story, visual effects, which them visual effects were god awful in that damn movie. How do you have all this? What was the budget on that? Because I'm like, how do you have a movie and the special effects? My friend Alex Fernandez, his special effects, and he uses no money to make his films, body jumpers, all that other stuff. You can check it out on YouTube. His special effects look more believable than what we saw in the Wonder Woman movie. It just did not, like, there were certain parts I was looking at and I'm like, you could see that that's CGI. It just did not look believable. And there are ways now, technology has come so far that you can make things look more believable. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we've been spoiled a little too much by Marvel and the MCU. Maybe Kevin Feige has spoiled us to the point that we have high expectations when it comes to our comic book movies. But even if it's a little cheesy, I don't mind cheese. I like cheese. I love cheese. I eat a lot of cheese. I eat it in the eggs. I eat in a bunch of stuff. But if the story isn't there, you lost me. And I feel like
that's what it is.
You had me until the Kristen Wiig scene. Once that shit started, and then we had Maxwell Lord, who basically was a Latino Donald Trump. Once you had all that up in there, you lost me for the rest of the movie, and you couldn't get me back. So that's basically what that was. Okay, so moving right along, we have some Real Housewives of Potomac news. And EJ also wanted to bring some stuff up about NeNe Leakes because he said that he was watching something and brought up some very interesting points. So we can continue to debate the whole what we did in our last episode, which was we talked a bit about NeNe Leakes and her war with Bravo and where does she go from here. So first thing I want to get to is Real Housewives of Potomac. So the final episode just aired, but I haven't been able to watch it because, like I said, I was doing, I was pretty much hosting the year in review that we were doing over on another YouTube live stream. So I didn't get a chance to watch tonight's episode, but I'm definitely going to get around to watching it. I don't know if I'll watch it tonight or I'll probably watch it tomorrow. But I will get around to it eventually. And I'm probably, maybe, who knows, maybe the next video we'll talk a lot more about it. But let's talk about the contracts. So this is season 5. I forgot that Potomac is still a relatively young show. So it says that it was reported that contracts for season 6 went out and the ladies were made aware if they were asked to return or not. So despite the rumors, Monique Samuels took to social media to confirm that she is indeed coming back. Monique was asked, there are rumors that about you being fired. Are you allowed to talk about that? My understanding is that contracts have not been sent out yet. If you are gone, I am gone. She responded to the fan, contracts have been sent out and the rumor is not true. Based on Monique's answer, it's unclear if she will accept whether whatever offer she was given or if she was asked to return as a full housewife. Now it also says her co-star Candace has made it clear publicly that she will not work with Monique moving forward. So if you're not going to shoot or film or be a part of the show with Monique, I'm wondering, is this the end of Miss Candace? Because she says, I will not film with her. I will not work with her. I, for my mental health, cannot be around someone who is doing a music video to promote the song bragging about fighting me. Wait, she did a music video talking about she gonna fight Miss Candace, the ghetto. And what's up with these Real Housewives continue to put out music? And a lot of y'all music get worse than it gets better. I mean, we had Tardy for the Party. We had Gone with the Wind Fabulous. Like, those were hot songs. And what was the other one? Money Can't Buy You Class. Like, I do love those 3. The rest of them is like trash. What else? So who else is coming back? Because I'm tired of this damn thing moving. So there was a rumor that came out that said that Dr. Wendy Osifo was not offered a contract to return. But there's been an update. Shout out to Love B. Scott for this tea, by the way. Wendy says she is coming back, so she got a contract. So it just seems like all the ladies are coming back. But it seems like Candace may not be coming back because she's saying she's not going to film with Monique. So it's either you can film with everybody else and not her, or but then again, it might be hard because if y'all go on group trips, you know how the Real Housewives does. We have the annual group trips and all of the stuff. We'll see. So we'll see if Candace comes back, because I'm sure if the coin is good, a lot of you girls, y'all like the fame, you like them, you like all that, the attention, the drama, and that's what people tune in for. But if you don't want to do it, if it's not good for your mental health, if you mentally cannot deal with the craziness that comes with the package of a Real Housewives show, then walk away. I mean, your mental health is the most important thing. Like, we've heard from people like Tamar and so many other girls that sit and talk about how doing these reality shows, how toxic they could be on your mental health. So if you mentally cannot deal with the shit that comes with being a reality TV star, walk away. That's all I can say. So, EJ, I want to bring you back in so we could talk about another Real Housewives show, the one and only Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is a new episode of that on tonight, or I could have sworn I heard it was coming on next week. Oh, yeah, we got a Real Housewives picture. Surprisingly, Andy Cohen ain't up in there since he think he a damn housewife. But anyway, he be thinking, yeah, she be thinking she a housewife. But yeah, so let's talk about Miss NeNe, because we went at length talking about her in the last episode, which you could check out in the YouTube page. Yeah, so I know you have like a little update or something you wanted to add to the whole NeNe situation. I'm all ears.
Well, no, I just wanted to kind of play a little devil's advocate and the latest drama that's going on is with Potomac is I just think it's highlighting something. Oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't see you.
Oh, great. Let's see. Is it better now?
No, I still don't see you.
We are live.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Well, anyhow,
you can keep talking. Us being live at all.
No, I was just saying, like, I just feel that, like, with what happened on Potomac, and it's not the first time that we've seen, our sister on television, on there, just dragging each other for filth, whatever it may be, however you see it. And I just think NeNe, her specific issue was that, that her, and I'm assuming a lot of Black women who aren't ready to, specifically her, she gets underpaid, and they're forced to, well, I don't say forced, but it's contractually obligated to, you sign a contract, you to go certain places and do things and put yourself in certain situations. But I don't think no one deserves to get dragged, or, however, instance that happened. And now here we are talking about another fight, and, it's great for ratings. It's great for skepticism and us to, to pull a show on and stuff like that. But I do think she has a point when it comes to this, how, these women are literally going to the gutter to make a name for themselves. And 4 years from now, what are they known as? An star? Like, so it's just interesting where the dynamics come into play. And I think that, she may have a case here with just the repetitiveness of that we call reality television. Now people want to stand with her and prove, ongoing formula to Black women on reality television. That's another conversation. I do think she doesn't have many friends, and that's just a sad reality. But that was just my little 2 cents there. Just, I think that she can use this to her advantage. If I was a lawyer, I would definitely be putting a note to this, and because they're looking at all this. How, if she's serious about taking us to the next step, then if I was a lawyer, how can I use this to my advantage? And that would be the angle right there. I mean, look at it for yourself. Play the tape. So I just don't know. We don't know exactly what angle, but we know she's going with some discriminatory type tease. So, and I do think that plays into that. So that was my little 2 cents for the day.
I mean, I just want to know what her end game is. Like, where do we go from? I mean, at this point, like, what is the goal? Because it seemed like you're saying there was racial discrimination, all these other things. I didn't see any of that. Don't get me wrong. Things that I found that when I watched the show over the years, yeah, they were problematic, but all these ladies were participants in this situation. And it also goes to show, like, when things were going great for NeNe, she didn't have no problem with all the whatever stuff that was going on. So I need a timeline. I didn't know specifically from what time to what time were there issues where she felt like it was discrimination or racism. She's worrying about her peers, her reality peers getting spinoffs. She was given a few spinoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody cared. Like, she's not interesting by herself. Her family, we don't care about her damn family. She doesn't want to go and give us the tea on her bum ass son Brent. She don't want to tell us what's going on with that and that whole situation. The oldest one, Brent Bryson. I don't know which one. They both. Let me shut up because I want to be shady. But she doesn't want to go in and let us know the tea of what's going on with her personal life, like the real tea. She wants to, it all has to be great and glitz and glamour and stuff. Then when you do a show like The Real Housewives, she didn't really want to go in and give us, she don't want to, I guess the word is, when you sign on to a contract of being on a show like The Real Housewives, y'all know what the game is. You gotta bring the drama. You gotta bring the messy. You have to, like, this is what people are tuning in for. Like, no shade. I live for anything positive and all the great things that, when it comes to Black Lives Matter and all that other stuff, they're covering that on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. The shit's boring. If I wanted that sort of stuff, I'd go to OWN. I don't come to Bravo for that. But it feels like, to me, the reason why they're tackling this is because of the current situation we're in with COVID and all this other stuff. So yeah, let's get all serious, because Black Lives Matter played a big thing. There's so much injustice going on towards people of color, which Yes, these are things that we cover all the time and things that we talk about. So now we have to have Portia, because of who her grandfather was, be, Harriet Williams. So now she's got to be sort of, this freedom fighter, and I got to go out and get arrested and do all these other things, which is great. You go out here and you fight for whatever the case is, but that's not why people come to these shows. People are not coming to these shows to get, a Hallmark moment or any seriousness. They want to see they want to see the gagging, they want to see the shade, they want to see all that stuff. So this is why people tune into these shows.
I think that's the problem, though, Kris. I think you hit the nail on the buzzer with.
It is a problem.
With the I don't know if you can see me, but no, but okay, great. It is like listening, and he just shouted out in the back. Like that's the problem. Like that's the problem, that the fan base do not want to see that. Like they want to see the messiness. They want to see the fight. They want to see the the hair pulling. I mean, look at Married to Medicine. Like you have doctors literally throwing each other in the pool. Would you want that to be a doctor? I don't know. But point being is like,
I would never have any of those. I would never have any of those broads check me out in no damn medical facility. Hell no. And it's unfortunate because. And it's unfortunate because it's like Love and Hip Hop. All of a sudden, like we see Mimi and them all of a sudden doing Black Lives Matter, and all like, really, girl.
Yeah, I mean, reality shows.
You were just wrapping your thighs around a damn shower rod. We supposed to take you seriously? So it's like when you can't take shows that thrive on the messy. Now all of a sudden they want to flip the script and become serious. Y'all want to change the format of the show because of the current climate. Certain shows you can't do that with. I mean, that's like I said, look, it's best suited. Let Oprah do that over and on and all that other stuff. But it's not. It doesn't work for what Andy and the rest of the messy ass people over at that channel is doing, because that's not. I agree. That's not what Bravo is. Unfortunately, they thrive on being messy, glitz and glamour.
I agree. I just think that, like, I don't know, if not now, then when. And I think that's something that, Bravo has to look down and figure this out. It may not happen now, but I think I think it will be a change. I mean, because the country is changing. And after a while, this type of reality show TV is not going to be what the kids want. I mean, you're going to take if you want to.
And you want to know something? Piggybacking off of what you said, I think that's the true gag, is that I think this whole Real Housewives format is done. I think people have moved beyond it. I feel like we're kind of moving beyond that whole Real Housewives. It's long in the damn tooth. The original, the Orange County one been on for 15, 16 seasons? Time for it to go.
Yeah.
We got season Beverly Hills season 12, 13. Time for it to go. Atlanta is in their 12th season. Time for it to go. I just feel like these women have nothing else to offer to this situation. This whole format is dry. It's done. We've moved on. It's sort of like, when you have certain shows that once we start evolving through the what's going on in entertainment, some of those shows get left behind. We're moving on from the whole Real Housewives thing. Like, I still watch it because I've been attached to these franchises for so long, but I'm not as connected to it like I once was. So it's like Atlanta's boring now. Like, the only people that are bringing it is Kenya and Drew Sidora with her messy ass husband, because they're in a situation where they're in fucked up relationships. Nobody cares about Cynthia and her boring ass marriage. Nobody cares about Candy and her daughter going off to college and her boring ass marriage to Todd. Like, nobody cares about all this stuff. So we're moving on. Like, there's no shade to any of these people, but it's just the format of the Real Housewives is done, and Andy needs a check, so he's gonna keep stretching this shit out for as long as he can.
I think you're right, but I also think that reality TV is sort of nutshell, at least on television. Because television has a certain format. Like, I don't think television is gonna necessarily change, like curve 180 like curve all of a sudden. Like, you see more of their stuff on YouTube. Like, I love like G Status Hustle Atlanta. Just a quick shout out. Like, they did a scene where like they spoke about one of the. It was obviously it's a gay show, but one of the guys got upset at a transgender girl and completely came out his mouth and called her something. Immediately they had a follow-up, a disclaimer, and then the follow-up scene, he owned up to it. And then the next episode they broke down and did the whole, 1-800 blah blah blah. Like, people are turning in a different direction. We give the drama, but we also give substance. And I think that's going to be hard for the VH1 Bravos to do, because again, the fans, the hardcore fans who want to tune in to see the fights, they want to see the breakups. No one wants to watch to see Mimi and Stevie life. We want to watch Mimi and Stevie, and then eventually the maid comes in, or Mimi's the maid, whoever the hell the maid is. Like, we want to see the fight. So people are conditioned to see one thing and society saying another, and television has to catch up. And that's going to be the tricky part, because they have to make money. And do they make money by playing nice? And like you said, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter pull in advertising dollars. Right now, maybe not, but it is the future. But right now, the present is messiness. And then right after that, you get a Pantene Pro V commercial, and then you get some fucking Dominoes. And, this is the money. This is the bread make. So it's going to be tough. But I do think we're on the same.
I agree with you.
And this is the conversation we have to move forward. Like, this is not going to be the end of it, because, it's changing.
Absolutely. And I absolutely agree with you with that, because you said something that the reality shows on the internet are giving us versus the reality shows on network televisions aren't giving us. And that's substance. You can't just all of a sudden, because of the current climate, we just going to give you them the substance and remove the drama and the style, and be like, what the fuck is this? This is not what I tuned into the show for. I've been watching this show for 15 damn seasons. And now all of a sudden you want to give me very special, serious episodes of a show that I'm tuning in just to escape all the bullshit that I've been dealing with in my personal life. So now Black Lives Matter, I'm bombarded with all of this in my real life. So now I got to come over here and see it in this show. Not saying, because I don't want people to take what I'm saying the wrong way, like I have a problem with Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about things with what was going on with shows like The Real Housewives, where the format is to perpetuate drama and people who are unattainable getting into crazy stuff, and I'm sitting there watching it with my popcorn entertainment. When you watch a lot of these reality shows, like you were talking about, the Come Up and G Status and these sort of things, and it's like, yeah, that's all drama and they're throwing shade and stuff, and then you say something. I do love the fact that they follow it up with conversations that go within our community. There's a whole nother conversation that we need to have in regards to the lack of queer representation in reality TV. And I love the fact that that YouTube and a lot of these services online are creating content for us to watch, and people are willing to be a part of it. So it's got those Real Housewives formulas, the Love and Hip Hop formula, but it features a full-fledged queer cast. So I'm willing for that. Like, we have that. We have G Status. What was it? We had the Come Up, Miami, and New York. New York was messy as fuck. Y'all can definitely check that out. And also we had what was the other one? Slag Wars, which has ended. So seeing queer competition reality shows, that's going to be the future. So I feel like we are moving forward in regards to it. So I agree with you when you say television is pretty much done within the format of reality television, and streaming and the internet is the future. I know we've been stretching out a lot of these topics for a long time, but some good tea, bitch. So yeah, what we're gonna do so we're going to do it because we talked about Wonder Woman and we talked about The Real Housewives. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the death of Club Kid killer Michael Alig, and we got an update on the one and only Wendy Williams. So as Wendy Williams likes to say, so she stole this from my girl Rachel Ray. Grab a snack and come on back. And look at me, I've got a show on the air. I don't need Real Housewives of Atlanta. But now we're starting to show that, you know what, ego's out of control. It was probably a good choice that Andy got rid of you. And once Raps is done, what is there for her to actually bring to the table as a way of reinventing herself? So I just feel like, you want to know something? Maybe what she needs to do is just go back to the drawing board. Like, if you want to do a show like NeNe and Friends or something like that, I'm all down for taking a moment, disappearing for a while, and coming back and reinventing yourself. Why not? I would say that, you know, when you have a bump in the road, take a break, go away for a while, let people miss you, and reinvent yourself, and then come back and create something, and, you know, come back with a different idea. I'm sure you do great on, you know, on a show or whatever at this point. I thought maybe she'd be great for the real, but they already got a housewife on there, Garcelle Bouvet. I heard she was kind of boring on there. I don't know. I don't watch that show. But for a show like The Real, I thought NeNe was a perfect fit. Maybe they could bring her on there. Or maybe she'd be too big of a personality. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to On the Line, where we just wanted to just jump on here real quick and just shoot the shit. This is probably gonna be a long ass episode because even though we don't even have that many topics, we just been taking time to just break it down, and dissect and make it make sense and all the good stuff. So yeah, before we get to the Michael Alig and Wendy Williams story, I just got some inside tea from a friend of mine. Apparently, Nikki Valentine said RIP to Michael Alig, which is great for some and problematic for others. Like I had people who were in my timeline who were mad over people saying RIP to him because he's a murderer and he's this, he's that. He was someone who had dealt with a lot of insecurities, a lot of issues, a lot of stuff that was going on in his personal life. I heard he was like a great guy when when time called for it. But then, dealing with those drugs, and everybody knows, doing drugs and stuff, it brings out the worst in people. Worse to the point where he killed his damn drug dealer and they doused him with bleach. They suffocated him and then hacked him up, dismembered the body and dumped it in the freaking, the river. But the problem was they didn't make sure the shit floated to the ground. It floated back up, and that's when they found the body. But then Michael Musto, legendary gossip columnist, did a blind item. We had heard some stories about what had happened. Police picked up the story, and then the rest is history. They made a movie on it and a documentary called Party Monster. James St. James, who was really good friends with Michael Alig. They went on to do, they did the movie, with Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green. And all that good stuff. But before we get into that, I just want to bring up that I just got some inside tea about Pink has a new album coming out next year. But next month she has a duet, and one of the singles that she has a duet with is none other than Miss Rihanna, honey. So Pink and Rihanna have a duet. I'm excited to hear what it sounds like. What I'm hoping with this new album from Pink is that, girl, it's time you move away from that pop rock sound. Like, ever since Misunderstood, that's all you've been putting out. Like, I need you to reinvent yourself with the music, with the image, or something. You only reinvented yourself twice. First time was when you was an R&B diva with the first album, Can't Take Me Home. Then the second time was when you became this rock chick with Misunderstood. And that album went on to go diamond, even though L.A. Reid was against you trying to do an album like that. But I'm glad you did, because that was like the album of all albums. And that's the album that, yes, solidified you and had you go diamond. And, that is my Virgo sister, but I do want a little something different. So I'm excited about the Pink versus Rihanna collaboration. So, yeah. Let's get into this Michael Alig thing. So I know a lot of people, because I had a couple of people who online, like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know nothing about him, and I've never heard of him. But like I said, so he was a big-time New York club promoter who did parties at, like, Limelight, a lot of other parties, Disco 2000. He also did these little pop-up parties where they would show up in like a Burger King and pretty much just throw a little quick party, have boombox, they'd eat, they'd drink, they'd party on stuff before the cops came. So when the cops would come, then they'd, scatter. And that's basically what they would do, like these little pop-up parties. I have friends, one of my friends, DJ Tennessee, who said he's working on his memoirs because he DJ'd for him back in the day. And he said that but even before the whole death thing that had happened, he was getting all emotional and had to stop with the writing of the book. So shout out to all of my industry friends, a lot of my party promoter friends, a lot of my club friends who are still around, thank the Lord, who I remember over the years would tell me stories and stuff, and I would just be like, oh my God, I kind of wish I was old enough to like be a part of the whole club kid thing. But I was way too young, and I didn't make it up in there. So I remember TMZ did a story where they were talking about that he was a Club Kid co-founder. First of all, he didn't co-found anything. He just became a part of something that he just became more of a mainstream fixture in the world of Club Kids. RuPaul was a part of that whole world. Like I said, Michael Musto, James St. James, there were a lot of really big club people, a lot of artists who were a part of that whole world in those days. And they appeared on shows like The Joan Rivers Show and Geraldo. Geraldo always had Club Kids on there. I'm sure if you looked up Geraldo and Club Kids on YouTube, you'd see a lot of those interviews and those videos. RuPaul was in a couple of episodes. You'll also see Michael Alig show up on the shows as well. Where they talked about like the whole scene, and that was like big in the 80s and 90s in New York. So the partying came to a crashing end on March 1996 when Alig and a friend by the name of Robert Freeze Riggs, whilst high on drugs, murdered DJ and fellow club kid Andre Angel Melendez following an argument about an alleged unpaid drug debt. Now, if anybody who knew, um, oh my God, Michael, they knew that he owed people a lot of money. They were friends of mine. Reading the timeline, say he owed me $300. He owed me this much. So he was always in debt when it came to money, owing people money, and that sort of thing. He was also very sociopathic and passive aggressive when it came to pushing drugs on people and all that other stuff. So in Alig's apartment, Melendez was struck with a hammer and smothered with a sweatshirt. Now the two men kept Melendez's body in a bathtub for several days before eventually dismembering it, packing the remains in a box and pushing it into the Hudson River. Body parts later washed up near Staten Island. I remember this was stuff that I was talking about. Rumors that Alig was responsible for Melendez's death quick began to circulate in clubland to the point that writer and queerty contributor, and I said this before I even read this article, Michael Musso commented upon it without naming Alig and Riggs in his regular Village Voice column. So he posted it as a blind item. And one of the things was that Michael Musso was big within the nightclub scene. And he's a prominent figure in New York. And then also, so Alig and Riggs subsequently pled guilty to manslaughter in exchange for a plea deal, sentences of 10 to 20 years each. And Michael went on to do 17 years. Said he was going to get clean, all that good stuff. Never got around to getting clean because apparently he had died of a heroin overdose. And people who I knew him, they said it wasn't just like, oh, he would do a little weed, a little coke, just drink. No, Michael took every goddamn drug you could think of and put it in his body. So he was on uppers, he was on downers, and everything in between. So, yes, I have justice for Angel Melendez. Well, I thought he got his justice when he did his time in jail. But he was still someone who was struggling. There were people who out here, when he got out of jail, that were trying to help him get his life back together and get himself on his feet. And he struggled. He was found dead in his apartment by his boyfriend in Washington Heights. And they said detectives discovered several Ziploc plastic bags apparently containing heroin from the home as well as drug paraphernalia. So, he was rightfully so, he was known as the king of the club kids. He was someone who ushered into the mainstream, and I know he and Peter Gatien, they were like running around ruling New York. This is before, that asshole Rudy Giuliani came and reared his ugly ass fucking head and pretty much tried to destroy nightlife. So yeah, we have, those of us who have been a part of New York, we have not liked Rudy Giuliani for years. Well, I should say decades, because I hated him as a mayor of New York, and didn't he do 2 terms? So yeah, I didn't like him when he was here and all that other good stuff. So I just want to say, you know what? Shit happens. It's sad to see someone lose their battle and couldn't get it together, and all the things that happened, and maybe now he could finally rest in peace, and then Angel's finally, hopefully he can rest in peace as well. So shout out to him and RIP, I guess. So yeah. So let's talk about my girl, Miss Wendy Williams. Shall we? Oh yeah. And if you haven't seen it, definitely check out the Party Monster documentary and the movie. Which Amanda Lepore, the legendary Amanda Lepore is a part of. So yeah, let's talk about Miss Monique. We already talked about Monique from Potomac earlier on the show. So Wendy took to her Instagram to check in with her fans. So she's currently on hiatus because her mother Shirley passed away, and this is like a time for her to pretty much get her life together, get her affairs in order, take a break from work, because I know like some people, me personally, I remember when my grandmother passed away, I immediately went back to work. I didn't want to deal with whatever issues or whatever the drama was going on, so I just engulfed myself in work and stuff, and I don't think that's the greatest decision I made, because it wasn't, but it was something that I did. But then overall, what happens is things come back into your life, and then it's still manifesting. It's still there, and you want to just deal with the issue and take time to grieve. Like a friend of mine currently is like one of my best friends. I just found out his mother passed away, and I saw like he turned off his phone. His phone goes straight to voicemail. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just text you. Say if you need anything, let me know. And that's all you can do with people. It's like you got to give them the opportunity to even more. So with that being said, this is what Wendy said because she took on Instagram and she's took a picture next to her son. I have to say, her son is, out of her and Kevin, they made a good looking boy. I'll say that. Little Kevin is cute. I ain't saying I want to sleep with him, but I'm just saying he's cute. I can say somebody's attractive when need be. So I would say, yeah, we have that picture of Miss Wendy. Because then I'll read the article. So she says, Merry Christmas to you. My son and I have been enjoying ourselves. Crepes for breakfast, lots of TV and laughter. Now it's time for veggie rice, large scallops, falafel, and vegan pizza. Lots of snacks all day. My favorite part of us is our conversations. Life is never perfect, but we are grateful. Can't wait to be back with you all on January 4th, and I'm counting down the days until my Lifetime TV doc and movie on January 30th. So yeah, I'm rooting for Wendy. In this picture, I thought like she pretty much looks frail. I hate that Tina Turner rolling on the river left a good job in the city. I hate that wig she got on her head. She is giving me, I don't want to read, but she is giving me in Gremlin. Or no shade, but she is giving me ET in a wig. I'm just not liking this look. But Wendy does over the top. Wendy does all this stuff. She's dealt with a lot. She's been going through so much in her personal life between her no good ass husband cheating on her and having a whole goddamn baby. Wait, what's going on with this? You need to read this article. What is this? What I'm reading, Wendy Williams fans say they are worried for the star as she shares holiday pics. Well, maybe this is alluding to, I didn't even know about this article, but maybe this article is saying what I'm pretty much saying out of my mouth.
I got the tea.
I said, maybe it's saying what I'm saying out of my mouth. What is going on? Because that picture, she does look fresh.
Yeah, I'm concerned. Fans are concerned about after the pic. Yes, the son is given very much, how you doing? We can fawn at the sun. Right, a little trade tease type tease. But yeah, Miss Wendy, the girls are concerned. Mm-hmm. This is coming. Shout out to the things for this story here. I don't know, Kris. Let's break this down here. What do you think? You said she looks frail. The article says itself.
She looks like ET in a wig. I'm not liking it. She's looking frail. That wig is horrible.
I love Wendy too. I love Wendy. I love what she's doing with her son. Showing that she obviously cares about him and having more of him in her life and vice versa. I do think her son loves her to death, as any child would. But this is concerning. We know, like you said, she went back to work, and then the story came out. I think we did it on the last Wednesday Night Kiki. We did a month or so ago. We spoke about the brother denying and stuff like that, and then the turmoil led after this, and even before then, we were questioning. I just hope she's well, because you're right. Going back to work can be a stressful thing. Dealing with the husband could be stressful, and she's having a lot of post-traumatic stress. Let's call it that. This can do it to you. Your life is in the limelights, and she's not someone who likes to talk about herself. Obviously, when she's a hot topic, she likes to talk about hot topics. A picture says 1,000 words. So the girls are talking.
Exactly, and like I always say, if I do the same thing Wendy Williams does. Like we get on here, we talk about entertainment news, celebrity news, and gossip, that sort of thing. But if I was to become a hot topic, it's like, yes, this is something I address. It's either you address it and you prolong it, or you just ignore it and then hope it goes away. But I'm just gonna address whatever the situation is, get it out of the way, and move on. But I I watched it. I don't know if you've seen it, but I watched an interview with her brother, Tommy, because, you know, he's now becoming more popular. He's doing videos and stuff on, he has a YouTube channel where he does little videos and stuff. So he did an interview, I believe, with Chronicle Speaks. Excuse me,
I
another
told you
YouTube
that was going
video. And I watch a lot of YouTube shows. Like, I don't just be like, oh, like, I watch a lot of, you know, a lot of people. If y'all got a good interview, I'm gonna sit and watch it and I'm gonna shout you out. But she did an interview with him, and he's mentioned something about like the way they were raised, and he says that they were always taught. I'm trying to remember who. I think it was Wendy's mother was more or less like, oh, man up, like deal with it. Whatever situation you're dealing with, just ball it down, deal with it in so many words. It's like go out there, deal with it. Don't let this thing sort of, I guess, anchor you or keep you down and stuff. But to me, that doesn't address the situation when you tell us about be a man, be strong, that sort of thing. So I'm starting to think that the way, like when we see that with Wendy's personality, it makes sense that she's just someone who doesn't deal with a lot of her own personal issues. She pushes it down or washes it away in certain situations, but doesn't truly deal with the root of the issue. And whatever, you can't just go around saying that whatever happened with you and Kelvin was not your fault. There's always a little fault in when a relationship dissipates. If I was in a relationship with someone and we broke up, I'm going to look at it as like not only just that person's fault. I want to know why our relationship got to where it was and deal with the root of that situation and try to see, well, what part did I play in this situation? That's what adults do. I don't just go and say, well, all of a sudden my husband woke up one morning and decided to just fuck a whole nother woman and get her pregnant for no damn reason other than he was horny as fuck and wanted to dip his dick in some old cootie cat. Like, guys, I don't think men just wake up one morning and just do that for no damn reason. There's a reason why a lot of times men who, number one, we could address whole toxic masculinity, not dealing with our emotions, that sort of thing. We could be here all day talking about that. But when it comes to situations with relationships, there's always a reason as to why is this person stepping out of the relationship? I don't care how many times you suck your husband's dick. There's got to be a reason that he feels that as a man, I need to gravitate towards something else to get what I need because you aren't giving me what I need or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I guess we'll find out what was the cause of when. I guess we'll find out all of this when we watch the Lifetime movie when it comes out next month. I guess we'll see what her version of why he stepped out and dissect that.
Right. I definitely agree. Hopefully they live up to what we want. Like we've been talking about this movie for a while. We're actually talking about working on, some other situation. So a lot of people's been waiting on this process with Wendy. I do think this is the pinnacle of her career. We always talk about what's next for her, like we spoke about with the clip with NeNe. After you do something for so long, what's next? Oprah knew her show wasn't going to go on forever, so she grabbed a network. Mm-hmm. Yes, report says she just sold stocks, whatever, for her network. She sold shares, whatever, but she still has a network, and her name is on it. So what is next for Wendy? The husband had her set up.
I can't see Wendy starting a network. Like that's a no. Look, you and I have had this conversation of what you think we should do. We said she needs to go back to radio. I'm not talking about radio like 97.1, 107.5. I'm not saying that. Like she can go to Sirius and do what Howard Stern is doing, or you could do something like take a deal similar to Andy Cohen and Charlemagne, like grab a couple of the next generation of podcasters and influencers and personalities and nurture them, take them under your wing and create the Wendy Williams network or something or another. But we, from Wendy's track record, I was trying to find a word, she's not that keen on competition. So I can't see her being a mother hen. Like for me, if I was in that situation, like me coming up, if the next generation was coming up and like, oh, I admire what you're doing, and I want to follow your footsteps. But I do have people that do that, that see what I do, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to. How did you get started in podcasting, or how did you get started with doing a show? And I'm like, just find something that you're comfortable with and you love, and just get on the mic and talk about it. You'll get whether it's one person or 1,000 people, as long as you affect one person out of all those people, that's all that matters. Trying to get a whole mass of people and numbers, that shit don't matter. But it's like, as long as you're influencing someone in a way that want to get up and think about what you said, or create something, their own content, then I feel like that's what I see myself winning, is when people are here like, oh, I like what you're doing, so I want to go and create something of myself, that you inspire me to want to create my own show. So that to me is something, and I don't mind taking people under my wing and mentoring them and stuff. So that's what you want to do. You want to pass the torch to the next generation to keep the legacy going. I don't see Wendy as that person. She just seems to me like she's just selfish and insecure in a lot of ways. And so I can't see her doing that. So it is a good question that you ask. What is the next thing beyond, the Wendy Williams show and the Lifetime movie and the documentary? Like, where do we go from here? Because I honestly don't see it. Until she can put the ego behind her, that's why I think her and NeNe got a lot in common in that aspect. Once y'all put that ego behind you, then I feel like you can move on and thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. But remember, like you said it earlier, like, they were raised a certain way, and that ego comes from a certain place, and I don't think that husband did not, put that ego in her head. Like, you are the HB of this, and, which is why she didn't want Angie Martinez, of who was in the lineup to be the next Wendy. She didn't want. We know the inside tea.
We should talk about the Jerry O'Connell. Like, you had a Jerry O'Connell show. You didn't even give him his own set. You didn't give him his own music. You basically just threw him in your set and basically was like, okay, here's a white boy using Wendy Williams studio. Have at it. Like, if you're producing content where you're trying to help someone get a show, use some of that fucking budget to launch another show. But you gave him your format, you gave him your studio, you gave him your music, you gave him your producers. You basically just stuck a white boy in a room instead of a black woman with a big old Tina Turner wig on, and was like, just start talking about shit. And people didn't buy it. To me, if you're gonna give someone the opportunity to create a show, what you do is produce a fucking show. But don't make the show like my show. Like, how is this person different than me as a person? And people saw through that. So, yeah, I love Wendy, but it's like, girl, get it together. Like, I'm rooting for you. I hope she gets it all together in regards of what's going on in her personal life and all this stuff. But I feel like the business aspect, and yeah, her husband did blow her head up in a lot of ways, because if you listen to old episodes of when she was on BLS with Charlemagne, there would be times that he would come in the room on a hot mic, like, yeah, Wendy's all that, and like he would say, or he would be her big cheerleader, and she would kind of be brushed, oh, get out the room, or shut up, and she would be saying that. I remember those episodes when I would be listening back in the day when I was a kid, listening to BLS and listening to the Wendy Williams show when she was on there, when Charlemagne was a part of the show. So yes, he was putting all that in her head, and who knows, maybe he was manipulating her and he was doing a whole bunch of other things while he was on the side doing whatever shenanigans she's going to claim he was doing in this Lifetime movie. I guess we'll see all of that playing out when that happens.
Honey, we will definitely see. On that note, I guess we would like to thank everyone for tuning in. And let me put our handles up here. You guys you can follow us at the handles here. But yeah, I think there's going to be more to this, and I think the movie, right? That too. The movie is gonna either have more questions than answers, or again, we will be questioning, well, what's next? And that's all I gotta say. I mean,
And we'll definitely,
Bye.
yeah, we'll definitely have our notes and things, and we'll bring it to the table on what we would have liked to have seen, what we would, all that other good stuff, what was there that we were satisfied with, what they could have elaborated more on. But we'll compare the we'll see. Maybe it'll be in the documentary as well as the movie, because I'm sure like stuff that wasn't in the movie will end up in the documentary. We'll see how that all plays out. But anyway, once again, thank you all for watching. Tune in for another exciting episode of On the Line. I'll probably be on Wednesday, or who knows, maybe some tea will come out earlier than that, and we'll just, I'll jump online and start talking about it. But yes, once again, thank you all for watching. Until then, ciao, darlings.